kí gbogbo wa nílé lóko lẹ́yìn tí mo kí wa ipa kó jẹ́ ọjọ́ ṣeré mo kẹ́yìn ìyá mo kẹ́yìn bàbá mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mo kí àbúrò èmi ọmọ yín olólùfẹ́ yín ayé ọpẹ́ yọ ṣé yọ lọ́dọ̀ sí yín náà ní agbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run ayé ọpẹ́ àmọ́ yọ fún wa lórí ọmọ lórí ìdáwọ́lé wa òun là yé ọpẹ́ òun ló máa fi máa yọ èwo ni mo ní ká jọ gbéyẹ̀wò lọ́jọ́ títí òní gẹ́gẹ́ bí àṣejọ máa ń ṣe ṣe mọ̀ wípé ó gbẹnu tán ó gbẹnu tó ló yẹ ká máa pè é tó wà nílẹ̀ sí ó gbẹnu tó ló yẹ ká máa pè é tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí tàbí kò wá gbẹnu tán bí bọ̀ kí ni mo lè ṣe ẹ jẹ́ kí n máa kó jáde wá ẹ jẹ́ kí n kó jáde wá fún yín ó ṣọ̀kì ẹ̀ ó ṣọ̀kì everybody bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó ṣọ̀kì everybody ẹ jẹ́ ká sáré lọ wo mi ò ní jẹ́ púpọ̀ o mi ò ní ṣókí báyìí lọ bẹ oge òun ló máa jẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká sáré lọ mójú ajé kò ní sọ let's go there.
àgbàwà búra béwé ò sí orí èmi náà ń bá wí torí bí n bá ráwọn ọmọ tí ń tọ̀ lé ẹnu mi ò gbọ̀rọ̀ ńgbà mo wà ń kéke mo tọ̀ lé ju àkèré lọ apá ìyá bàbá mi ọ̀ká ńgbò ìyá tí mo tún sọdá sọ́dọ̀ bàbá mi ń kọ́ àlùtà kọ́ntínúà ní mo tún tẹ̀síwájú ní àmọ́ ẹ jẹ́ ń dá dúró ń bẹ̀ náà ẹnìkan bí mi wọ́n ní Yorùbá máa ń pa òwe pé aṣọ tí ìpín bá bọ́lẹ̀ kò sí baba ẹni tó lè gbé e wọ̀ aṣọ tí ìpín tó bá bọ́lẹ̀ kò sí baba ẹni tí ó gbé e wọ̀ wọ́n wá ní kí ni ìpín àwọn àgbààgbà ó yé wọn àmọ́ fáwọn ọmọ ayé òde òní bíi tèmi ẹ jẹ́ ń ṣàlàyé ní ráńpẹ́ wọ́n wá fi nǹkan méjì kún ẹ já wo ìpín àti ìpín kí ni ìpín ẹ mọ̀ dáadáa ọ̀nà mẹ́ta ńlẹ́lẹ́yìn òfin ní ìtumọ̀ àkọ́kọ́ ní ìtàlẹ́pẹ̀ ní division àbí fraction ṣé ẹ mọ̀ bí wọ́n bá fúnyàn ní nǹkan mẹ́fà ní ìsìn tán wá ní kí n pín sọ́nà mẹ́ta yóò wá jẹ́ méjì méjì bí wọ́n ṣe dúró ní méjì méjì ní ìpín kọ̀ọ̀kan eléyìí ò ní fraction or division ìpín tí wọ́n lè jẹ́ ntọ́kànyàn nínú nǹkan tí wọ́n pín that is your own portion ìpín ọpẹ nǹkan burúkú èsè ìpín mi èyí nǹkan ìtumọ̀ ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹta ní Yorùbá ń pè ní àyànmọ́ ìpín ọgbọ̀ pé akúnlé àyàn ìpín lọ́run àyànmọ́ ọ̀pápọ̀ torí Yorùbá gbàgbọ́ pé gbogbo ohun téèyàn bá dànlé ayé àtọ̀run ló ti yàn wá ọlọ́mọdé àyàn tí ọ̀dà kí wá ní ìpín ní eye discharge èyí ò ní èyí tó máa ń jáde lójú wa funfun báyìí tó jẹ́ pé a máa ń yọ kó lójú eléyìí ò ní ìpín kí a ní ìpín gan kòkòrò ní ìpín èbó ń pè ní stinging caterpillar a máa ṣe mùkúmùkú báyìí ní oríṣiríṣi àwọ̀ ló wà àmọ́ ètò wọ́pọ̀ láàrin wa ní aláwọ̀ ewé bẹ́ẹ̀ bá wá wo ara rẹ̀ a máa dàbí pé ẹ̀gùn ní ń bẹ lára rẹ̀ báyìí in tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé kò gbọ́dọ̀ kànyàn lára bó bá kànyàn lára a máa jóyàn pọ̀ ó ju iná lọ wèrèpè gan kò lágbára rẹ̀ ẹ̀yẹn wá wò ó irú nǹkan tí máa ń jóyàn lára báwọn kọ́ wá bọ́ àwọ̀ tí ń jóyàn lára nǹkan wá bọ́ọ̀lẹ̀ ṣé èèyàn wá lè gbé e sára ni ṣé èèyàn lè gbé e wọ̀ níta à ń wí ni pé àwọn nǹkan kan bẹ tó jẹ́ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkan bá ṣe ìwọ mọ́ gbìyànjú rẹ̀ bóyá o lájẹsára tó ń tọ̀ ní àbó lórí ọ̀fẹ́ tó ní ọkà ní nǹkan kan tó fi jù ọ́ lọ mọ́ gbìyànjú rẹ̀ aṣọ tí ìpín bá bọ́ọ̀lẹ̀ kò sí bàbá ńlá ẹni tó lè wọ̀ ọ́ sẹ́ni pé Yorùbá dùn bẹ́ẹ̀ bá wá fẹ́ràn fọ́nrán ẹ dákun ẹ bá ń tarí rẹ̀ sẹ́ lómi èyí ò ní pé ẹ bá ń share àbíkẹ́ repost àkó àsìkò yìí.
Why are Nigerians experts on every other person except themselves? We are experts on other people but do not want to be objective about ourselves. This video is a little bit of a rant about Nigeria and Nigerians.
All I'm saying is I work hard, I do my shift, I have clinics, I have hospitals abroad. I say it openly, I say it in social media.
Ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ní Ìlọrin, ẹ̀yin àfáà, ẹ̀yin àlìwúlà mọ́ wàrà sátú àbíyá yìí. Ìlú Kùránì lẹ pè lọ́rin fún wa. Ìlú Kùránì, ìlú tó ṣe pé wọn ò ní ẹbọ, wọn ò ní ògùn. Kùránì lẹ bọ wọn, Kùránì lògùn. Ṣé bá wa sa Kùránì sáwọn bandits. Ẹ bá wa sa Kùránì ẹ pé bíríkòtò ẹ pé bíríkòtò. Ẹ bá wa fi Kùránì kẹ́kẹ́kẹ́ fi bá yàn bandits jẹ́ náà.
Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel and follow on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.
Ṣebí ń pẹ́ lágbára nínú ẹnìyẹn, àwa dẹ̀ nígbàgbọ́ nínú ogun, a nígbàgbọ́ nínú àkàràbá, Yorùbá ló nìyẹn. Ẹ̀yin tèmi tẹ́ bá ti ń wọlé ẹ máa bá mi share, máa bá mi share, máa bá mi share, ẹ jọ̀ọ́. Ṣé understand? Kí la ní kó ṣe ni tí ò ṣe ni? Kí ló dé tí wàhálà yìí tó tó eléyìí? Nílùú tó lọ́ba tó níjòyè. Any small thing ẹ ti máa digun ẹ̀yin àfẹ́ ẹ ti digun lọ bá wọn tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹlẹ́sìn mi kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ ànábì bá àwọn tí wọn ò jẹ́ Islam ó bá wọn lò gbà according to the story tá gbọ́ ànábì bá wọn ẹlẹ́bọ lò gbà ó bá wọn yẹ̀wù dísẹ̀ ìwúrúra ṣẹ̀dáwúrá àbí báwọn lẹ ṣe ń pè wọ́n ó bá wọn lò gbà ṣe bígbà tí ànábì tó lọ sílẹ̀ Rome ìgbà tí wọ́n jihad lọ sílẹ̀ Rome tí wọ́n gbé wá sí lọ ṣe bàbá Solomon ló gbà wọ́n lálejò according to the story tá gbọ́ kí ló wá dé ìsìn ẹni ẹbọ ni wọ́n fi pilẹ̀ Mẹ́kà kí ló wá dé ṣebí ṣe tèmi kí n ṣe tẹ sówó kan fún kan lọ́rùn ni ẹ bá wa sa Kùránì kẹ́ fi bá yé àwọn bandits tó bá jẹ́ lóòótọ́ Kùránì yẹn gbójúlé ẹ̀dẹ̀ ń sa oúnjẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ̀ pé confam ẹ bá wa fi dojúkọ àwọn bandits ẹ bá wa fi Kùránì ẹ fi gbógun tàwọn bandits ẹ fi àwọn ẹlẹ́bọ sílẹ̀ ẹ fa àwọn ọlọ́ṣun sílẹ̀ ẹ fi eléégún sílẹ̀ ẹ fi onígbá sílẹ̀ ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ṣe fún máa ní 2023 nìyẹn ẹ sọ pé kò gbọdọ̀ ṣọdún ó fẹ́ ṣe festival ẹni kò gbọdọ̀ ṣọdún ó kò gbọdọ̀ ṣe kò gbọdọ̀ mọ̀ kí ló dé ìjọba bàbá Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu ẹ bá wa wá nǹkan ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ará Ìlọrin òun ni wọ́n ń pa kúkúrú ni wọ́n ń pa gúgù náà ń gbẹ́bí náà ń pààyàn lójoojúmọ́ ẹ̀ rí nǹkan ṣe sí àwọn tó ń tún lè ṣe nǹkan sí tó ń lè defend dibẹ̀ ẹ̀ tún ní pé wọn ò gbọdọ̀ ṣọdún ó wọn ò gbọdọ̀ ṣẹbọ wọn ò gbọdọ̀ ṣe gbákílẹ̀ fẹ́ kọ́ máa ṣe ṣẹ́ni tí òun tí wọ́n ń ṣe nínú Kùránì ṣọ́kọ́ wá bọ́ sílẹ̀ kó sọ pé òun fẹ́ máa ṣe ni àbí kí ni nǹkan tẹ́ ń tráì láti sọ fún wa ṣé a rí níbi tá a bọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ dé yìí ó tó pín gan ó tó pín ẹ wò bá ti ta láwọn oríṣiríṣi àfáà ló ń tan ring light sí àárín wọn mọ́ntàǹsì wọn ń ṣe motivational speaker wọn ń ṣe broadcasting wọn ń ṣe kankan ìgbà tó di tó tọ́nù lu wọn lè máa rí ring light oríṣiríṣi wọn ti ń gbé lọ olórí ibú ọmọ àlè á ọ ni á ṣe àmọ ẹmú ẹkì ẹran bí òrẹ̀lẹ̀ pé ni ẹni tó bá tó ní ò báyìí tí ìgbẹ̀mí ẹ̀dá kan ò lè pààyàn lẹ́yìn ọba tó lè pa tó lè jì òun lọ́ba tó ní wá ohun tó ń ṣe yín gbà ẹni pé kẹ́ pátá lọ́lọ́run kẹ́ pa àmọ́ ṣá ìṣẹ̀dá ayé wà lẹ́yìn kí ló dé Ìlọrin kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ kí ló dé bí mo ṣe nífẹ̀ẹ́ Ìlọrin yẹn tó nígbà yẹn according to the story ojú dúdú ńgbà táwa kéré tí wọ́n sọ fún wa pé ìlú yẹn gangan ibẹ̀ ní Islam ló ti ń tàn ká ìlú Ṣéwù Álímì táwa dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé lọ́rin Àfọ̀njá ẹnu dùdú yọ no matter how kí ló dé ń tó wà nílẹ̀ tó ń pín náà ìlú Kùránì yẹn bá sa Kùránì sáwọn bandits kí wọ́n yé payín lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan òun ló délẹ̀ ń sìn gómìnà Abrahamu wọ́n kárí wọnú wọn ò ṣe nǹkan kan nítorí tí wọ́n bá ṣe ẹni tí gbogbo àwọn ìlú tí àwọn bandits tí wọ́n ti lókò ní under Kwara State ó yẹ kẹ́ ti gbégbèsè bóyá ẹ̀jẹ̀ gbégbèsè ìgbésẹ̀ yìí ò tó kẹ́ tú ṣòkòtò yín fún ẹ tú ṣòkòtò yín fún ṣe wá rí ẹ̀yin Yorùbá tẹ́ wá wà ní Ìlọrin ìmọ̀ràn ti tèmi lélẹ̀ mo fẹ́ bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ ṣe rí ẹni tó bá jọmọ ọkọ kó dúró lórí ọmọ ọkọ ìwọ tó bá jọmọ àlè kó dúró lórí ọmọ àlè Yorùbá ìran mi ni mo fẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀ yìí o mo ti sọ tàwọn Fúlàní mo ti kó gbogbo yín pọ̀ yẹn ti lọ èyí tẹ́ jẹ́ ìran mi tẹ́ wà nílọrin wọ́n ní tó kó tọmọ tí bàbá kì í wà kó má làálàá àwọn pípù yìí ń jẹ́ kó yé pé ẹ̀yìn ṣe ìrànkan náà kò dẹ̀ lè jọra wọn ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé nígbà tí gbogbo ẹ̀ tó ń délẹ̀ irú ìmáàmù ọ̀fẹ́ mi ò mọ̀ pé bàbá yẹn ń ṣe Yorùbá wọ́n ní Málì làwọn ìran àwọn ti wá wọ́n dẹ̀ dé sí lọ ni wọ́n dé sí Ọ̀yọ́ wọ́n gbà wọ́n lálejò ṣé bàbá yẹn ẹ wá sọ wọn kọ́kọ́ wá lọ sí Málì ẹ wọ àìmọye generation tí wọ́n ti wá tẹ̀lú síbẹ̀ ṣé ẹ mọ̀ kí ni ti gójì pa gan àti gbọnú ara wa gbogbo àwọn àfáàfáà definitely àwọn Fúlàní wọ́n mẹ́sìn wá ẹ̀sìn yẹn ẹ̀sìn Fúlàní kì í ṣẹ̀sìn Yorùbá nítorí pé tó bá máa dọjú ẹni tó bá fẹ́ capture wa òun ni wọ́n ṣe gbé àwọn ẹ̀sìn yẹn wá tó ń dín lé kókó pé ká máa lọ sílé ká máa lọ ṣe ká máa lọ mọ̀ kí ni important of pé àwọn tó ń ké kí náà fi dà yàtọ̀ sáwọn tí wọ́n tó ṣe pé àwọn míì ké nínú wọn tí wọ́n ní láárí àwọn míì dẹ̀gbẹ̀ akéwù tọrọ di akéwù gba bábíálẹ̀ akéwù gba àṣírí ààbò akéwù ṣàlùmọ́ǹjìrì lẹ́lòmíì inú wọn akéwù gorí èèyàn akéwù gba private party obìnrin akéwù tan obìnrin kún sí wẹ́wẹ́ akéwù dà Abrahamu alápàtà nílọrin kí ló dé ẹ fẹ́ kí ìran wákàtí ẹ̀ sísì mọ̀ mí mọ́ tá a ṣe fún yín kò yé mi ṣèbí tí ò bá ṣe é jọ gbé ṣèbí kálukú àgbàdo ẹ̀ lọ kí kálukú kékeré ọ̀fun ti tọ̀ sí gbẹ̀gìrì kí kálukú kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ èléwé tá a bá sọ pé a fẹ́ bá yín ṣe a fẹ́ unite a fẹ́ ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀pá join together tẹ́ ẹ bá ní kò ṣeé ṣe kí kálukú ṣe tiẹ̀ lọ́tọ̀ it is not by force.
Media, it's about time I came back home. So if I spend my money to invest in properties like this, you tell me this kind of story. What do you think other people abroad are going to do? The younger ones are looking at Dr. Zo saying that Nigeria cannot be trusted by things like this. Make it simple, do the right thing. That's what I'm asking. It's not too much to ask.
Hello, everyone.
And I think that we should refrain ourselves, whatever may be the level of provocation, from referring to a Nigerian as a refugee or as an immigrant in his own country. The Constitution of Nigeria, Chapter 4, dealing with fundamental human rights, says, as a Nigerian, you can live anywhere. So this indigenous settler thing has to come to an end. And those who are going on social media referring to Igbos as immigrants in Lagos should know that they have a right to be in Lagos. Just as, where is that your village? Oh, okay, you are from
I'm from Lagos Island.
Okay, she is the one.
Former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has criticized the demolition of commercial plazas at Lagos State's Trade Fair complex, alleging that the exercise violated due process despite traders holding valid approvals. The demolition carried out by multiple agencies, including the Ministry of Physical Planning, Lagos State Building Control Agency, Lagos State Urban Renewal Agency, and the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority, targeted structures in the Ojo local government area. Peter Obi visited the Auto Spare Parts and Machinery Dealers Association section of the market on Tuesday, alongside several lawmakers, including Senator Ihinaya Abaribe of Abia South and Senator Victor Ume of Anambra Central. He commended the affected traders for their restraint in the face of their losses.
You know, I've complained consistently all over the country. This is not a time, considering how difficult things are in this country, that such a thing should happen. At a time, most of the people who build this have borrowed money from bank at high interest rates. The business is no longer the way it is. It is at a critical time. You cannot do this now in this country. So it's happening at a time nobody would have dared do such a thing. And I urge the traders, let them exercise patience. We hear everybody's going to work together to see that such does not happen again, and that what happened here, like they said, they will get to the root of it. And I'm sure they will get to the root of it.
Has fired back at Peter Obi over his criticism of the trade fair complex demolitions, accusing him of misleading Nigerians about the legality of the affected structures. In a statement released on Wednesday by Gbenga Omotosho, Commissioner for Information and Strategy, the government insisted that the demolished buildings had no valid permits and that the traders were misleading the public about their documentation, adding that they ignored opportunities to regularize their documents during the amnesty declared last year, citing the Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Act of 1992 and a 2003 Supreme Court ruling. The commissioner emphasized that the physical planning approval.
Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel and follow on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.
For any construction in Lagos must come from state government, and that federal boards cannot override the requirement except the exclusive areas such as military formations. Dr. Abati, you know that this trade fair demolition has sparked a fierce debate over regulatory authority and due process. Traders affected by the demolition claim that the Trade Fair Management Board authorized the buildings. Omotosho clarified that the board only has powers to manage leases and tenancies, not granting building approvals. This issue exposes the complex jurisdictional tensions between federal agencies and state authorities in Nigeria's planning framework and highlights the need for a clearer regulatory framework governing such properties. And that's really what it is. We need a clearer governing framework. These affected traders are claiming that they had, the Trade Fair Board approve their buildings. And, the state government is saying it is the state's responsibility to approve buildings. Your thoughts on this?
Okay. Look, let me start with Gbenga Omotosho, who is the Commissioner for Information. He was saying, in response to the protest by traders at Aspamda, it is otherwise called, the trade fair complex in Lagos, that, look, these traders, before they put up their structures, did not receive approvals. They claim that they got the approval from the federal government board, and it was quoting the law in the statement that the Lagos state government put out, namely that, look, yes, you may say trade fair belongs to the federal government, but it is determined in the fiscal planning laws and also in a quoted AG Lagos versus AG Federation. That is the Lagos state government who has control over buildings and all of that. And that an attempt had been made previously to reach out to the traders in Aspamda at the trade fair complex, and they just ignored the Lagos state government and said, we don't have any control, we don't have any business with you. However, I think it is good that Mr. Peter Obi visited the place alongside Senator Abaribe Enyenaya and also Senator Victor Ume from Anambra Central. Enyenaya is from Abia South, to identify with these persons who are the owners of the structures at the trade fair. However, there was something I saw in the statement. The Igbo traders there, because there's an ethnic dimension to it, they were described as immigrants. Now, a Nigerian cannot be an immigrant inside Nigeria. And I think that we should refrain ourselves, whatever may be the level of provocation, from referring to a Nigerian as a refugee or as an immigrant in his own country.
Can you imagine?
The Constitution of Nigeria, Chapter 4, dealing with fundamental human rights, says, as a Nigerian, you can live anywhere. So this indigenous settler thing has to come to an end. And those who are going on social media referring to Igbos as immigrants in Lagos should know that they have the right to be in Lagos. Just as, where is that your village? Oh, okay, you are from
I'm from Lagos Island.
Okay, she is the one who may be described as an immigrant. But
I live in Lagos.
Mr. Peter Obi made the point by saying that even when government is insisting on laws, insisting on rights, government must operate with justice, with humanity.
This is it.
With a human face.
This is it.
And I think that's just the bottom line of it, so that we do not get all of this reduced to the level of ethnicity. As for Professor Wole Soyinka, I think, this is a major achievement for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And it's a great credit to the Gowon administration, to the Obasanjo administration, and to everyone involved in this revival, not just of a building, not just of a monument, but of a national pride called the National Theatre of Nigeria. And also to the Bankers Committee, and also to Emefiele, who has other issues with the government, but perhaps this is one thing that we will be remembered for being governor of the central bank, because it was under his watch that all of this was galvanized, and the Lagos State government gave support.
Right.
Professor Wole Soyinka deserves the honor. He says he receives it with mixed feelings and with a sense of nostalgia, but I think it's important that that cultural symbol is named after a man who not only won the Nobel Prize in 1986, but who is also a global citizen and a major source of inspiration for generations of Nigerian literary students and workers, including the speaker.
Fantastic.
As for President Tinubu saying Nigerians abroad should come back home, they should believe in Nigeria. Yes, Nigeria first. We all believe in that. But this country should be made an attractive environment.
This is it.
We want Nigerians to come home. Do we have electricity? Do we have good roads? Do we have medical care? Many Nigerians who are abroad, many Nigerians who are Japanese, to use a famous phrase, they are doing so because the enabling conditions are not here.
Yes.
When President Tinubu says, come home, put Nigeria first, support your country, don't criticize your country, we should make Nigeria more attractive.
Absolutely.
The pastor of hope, Pastor Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has been preaching hope, he should deliver on that pastoral mandate.
Yes.
And then, of course, they will not need to preach too much for Nigerians abroad to promote their country and to come
back home.
Over to you, Pastor Tinubu.
That many of us do not want to hear the truth about our country. If anyone observes anything not good about Nigeria and they talk about it, people will come for you and say, oh, it is only Nigerians that speak badly about their own country. But the interesting thing is that Nigerians are the ones who know the most about what is happening in other countries. They are the one who knows how people are suffering in America and suffering in Canada, and how people are paying bills in all these places, and life is bad, and this is going on and that is going on. What Trump is doing, and what Kemi Badenoch is doing, and what the UK is doing, and what France is doing, that is wrong, and they will have endless debates about these other countries, but will not want to deal with the facts about what is happening in Nigeria, in the home country. If you point out anything that's not good about Nigeria, they go up in arms. So recently I made a video about Nigerians in Nigeria, and I got a lot of comments about speaking badly about your country, and yet they're the ones who will binge watch what UK and America is doing wrong. Instead of focusing on what other people are doing wrong, why don't we focus on what is wrong in our own country and how we can fix it? Like the Yoruba proverb will say, when you point one finger at somebody, the remaining four fingers are pointing at you. So all this finger pointing at other countries and other people and what they are doing wrong is not really helping us. I think we ought to look inward and have meaningful and objective conversations about our country and what is wrong with it. I really applaud people like Adeola Fayehun, who are always sensitizing us to what is going on in Nigeria and just giving us the facts. keeping it real, like she would always say. And it's not just Nigerians. I guess it's an African thing. It would be great if we could take these messages objectively and look inward and take actions that will make our African countries great as they should be. So, for example, one of the issues in Nigeria is the wahala of investing in real estate.
I am from Chicago, Illinois, from the United States of America. And I'm here today on the grounds that everything that I've worked so hard for, even from America to Nigeria, and as I love this country and I fell in love with this country, I chose to invest here. Now, as I come here today, I can see most of my dream and so many of our investments crumbled and shattered. But how can I trust the fact that the more I invest is not protected because of what's going on here? And what we are appealing today, and me as an American from Chicago, Illinois, I'm speaking directly in the camera. But look at our investment now, over 700 billion down the drain. Please, Mr. President, I ask you for your mercy to come at our assistance and help us come to a conclusion with this matter. Thank you.
I've been talking about real estate investment recently, and because of that, I've been watching a lot of videos about real estate investment, both in Canada, North America, and in Nigeria. And I have come across so many videos, as you saw in the clip, of people who have had negative experiences with investing in real estate in Nigeria. And like I said, people will say, oh, don't talk about it, don't talk about it. But these are people's experiences, especially those people who are in the diaspora. I mean, I don't know whether, I'm not sure if people who are at home experience the same thing, but most of the stories I saw, most of the stories I watched on the internet were people who were in diaspora and sending money home to invest in Nigeria. And it is not just, the developers, the private developers that are defrauding people. Apparently, the government also, allegedly, is also defrauding people, taking money from people, selling them land, and then taking the land back because they want to build a road on land that was already approved for these people to build on. And the government cancelling the agreement that they made with people after they had paid millions and millions of dollars, not even naira, dollars for this land, just like that, without any recourse, without any compensation. And then I also stumbled across Adeola's video where she was talking about somebody that she had promoted on her channel to sell real estate to people, and they took people's money and they didn't provide the service, they didn't provide the property. And I could see how she was stressed out because people had put their money in this investment because of her. And then she's saying, please help me beg Auntie Grace.
I just want the people that paid for land or for apartment to get their apartment. So I'm just begging them publicly to do the right thing.
And, I have also experienced it. I mean, I spoke about this in one of my videos. Maybe I'll link it up here or here, of how we also had paid money for land in Nigeria and the money disappeared and there was no land, right? So I guess my message in this video is that you should beware of investing in real estate in Nigeria. You should be very careful. I'm not saying don't do it, but you need to be aware of the dangers and the risks that are involved in putting your hard-earned money in real estate in Nigeria. And I hope nobody will come and say that I am speaking bad of Nigeria by saying this, because this is something that is real. This is something that people are experiencing. This is something I have experienced. And so, just be careful. That is my short and simple message and my rant for today. What do you think? Do you agree with me or disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Hello out there. My name is Laolu Akonde, and today I'm reaching you from the United Nations headquarters in New York. But first, here's my take for today entitled, In Diplomacy, Presence is Power and Absence is Noticed. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to be absent at the United Nations General Assembly for the second time. Currently, Nigeria doesn't have ambassadors in its well over 100 diplomatic missions across the world, including here at the United Nations. No permanent representative since 2024. And now, world leaders are gathering as from Tuesday here in New York, the largest gatherings of heads of state and government on the earth. And it happens once every year. But guess what? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to be absent just like he was last year. For context, President Buhari attended every General Assembly meeting of the United Nations for the 8 years he was in office. So this is a serious matter because in diplomacy, presence is power and absence is noticed. It was a former UN Secretary of State who said, if you are not at the table in the international system, you are going to be on the menu. Here in New York, leaders from all over the world are converging to define their country's place in the world. The summit officially started September 9, but the general debate for heads of state and government starts from September 23 to the 29th. Last year, Vice President Kashim Shettima stepped up to the plate at the last minute to represent Nigeria, and observers said he performed very well. The president again has tasked his deputy to speak on Nigeria's behalf. There is no official reason given for the president's absence for the second time, but I guess none is required. What some retired and serving diplomats worry about is that Nigeria is missing out on the world's largest multilateral gathering where leaders often deepen relationships and advance their country's interest. Not that the vice president doesn't represent the country, but presidents open doors that vice president cannot. Why does it matter? The General Assembly is more than a week of speeches. It's the world's largest marketplace practically and diplomatically. Behind the cameras, presidents and heads and prime ministers hold private meetings where serious deals are initiated, security partnerships are shaped, and multilateral funding unlocked. For Nigeria, a handshake in New York can accelerate deals that might otherwise take years or decades, if ever. With over 200 million citizens and Nigeria's role as the economic engine of West Africa, we typically as a country command attention here at the UN when the president himself shows up, doors open faster, and requests to see the president also abounds, including from people that really matter. Nigerians have noticed a president who frequently travels internationally. That's President Tinubu. But now he has skipped hunger for 2 years in a row. Is it that the president is prioritizing domestic challenges over attending the world's largest diplomatic forum? Whatever the reason is, in diplomacy, presence is power and absence is noticed, especially not at this crucial time when Africa is pushing for the reform of the United Nations Security Council, with Nigeria likely to be a beneficiary. There are also issues around debt relief and climate financing, with African nations receiving only a fraction of the funds required, for instance, for climate adaptation issues. And Nigeria, as Africa's largest economy, has a critical voice to these issues. Nigeria's absence, with the president's absence, makes the matters a little bit dicey. So while other world leaders debate conflicts, climate change, and global economic reforms, international security on the global stage, one of Africa's most influential presidents is not in the room for 2 years running. And for Nigerians watching closely, that absence speaks so loudly. The Vice President Shettima will try his best. He will do it very well. But 8 years in the presidency has shown me that the difference between a president and the vice president is not just limited to the spare tire analogy. It is not a difference between sleeping and staying awake. The difference between the president and the vice president is the difference between life and death. That is why presidents ought to take such a gathering like that of the United Nations General Assembly very, very seriously.
Kindly subscribe to YouTube channel and follow on Facebook page at Dr. Zabby's Talk Show.